Welcome to Breakfast Food, the weekly themed podcast featuring feel-good stories, stupid anecdotes, and advice you didn't even know you wanted. From me, Annabel Logan.
And me, Cara McKinley. I didn't have a special one ready this week.
I was waiting. I was like,
I know. As you did the intro, I was like, oh no,
oh
no.
The pressure's on.
I know. I copped out. I decided today's just not the day for frivolity.
Today we are in a somber mood. I'm not actually. That's a lie. I'm just exhausted.
Yeah, well, you're only just essentially just back off a plane, aren't you?
I am. It was a horrible journey. Well, not horrible, just long. A whole day travel. Back at midnight. Knackered.
Ugh.
But feeling good. Trying to bottle and hold on to that feeling of when you're actually relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what it feels like to actually feel like healthy and relaxed.
I remember this.
And then I stare and give evils at all the people who live in these beautiful warm climates, and they can,
I know,
every day they can just like stroll down to a lake or eat breakfast outside on the patio. I'm like,
I know. The other day I was looking through pictures on my phone. I almost said stickers on my phone. I don't know what's happened.
I mean, that's a fun task.
I was looking through pictures on my phone, and I came across a picture of the house I used to live in when I lived in New Zealand, and I was like, oh my god, why would the universe show me this right now? I could have been in quarantine in a town of like 300 people where I lived right next to a lake. It would have been so nice.
Man, I know.
Oh well.
But, it would have been very hard for us to make a podcast with the time difference.
That's true.
So I'm thankful that you're here.
Oh, thanks, pal.
Thanks.
Speaking of podcasts, what's on the waffle today?
Well, the weekly waffle today is all about childhood memories, our own childhood memories. We've not prepared anything because we reckon weird shit will pop up.
It will. It always does.
Yeah.
I always have stories prepared, and then I hear one of your stories, and I'm like, oh my god, that reminds me of this thing.
Absolutely.
I did prepare one because Annabel, a peek behind the curtain, Annabel sent me a little list of like prompts to like think of stories up for, and I was like, oh, I don't know, and then one of your prompts was like weird memories.
Okay.
Which for me was like just like weird surreal kind of moments, like when you're a kid and like certain things about the world you've just not experienced yet, so things feel really surreal when they happen to you.
Yeah.
And one of those things I think tends to happen, or it used to happen to me a lot, was I think as a child I had no object permanence. Like if I went to a new place and I went into that new place via a door, I would immediately get lost and forget about the door behind me.
No.
You know what I mean? And the one that I remembered when I saw like your prompt was I moved into a new house when I was about 8 years old. So I was like, I'm going to go exploring, looking at the different streets. And I like wandered through like a closed off alley into a new street. And the second I got into the new street, I was like, I'm lost. I don't know where I am. What will I do? I'll never find my way home. And I like sat down on the curb and just started crying because I was like, this is where I live now.
It's so sad.
And then, yeah, I know. But then I looked up and there was a girl coming towards me on a unicycle.
What?
And I was like, yeah, this was real. This really happened. There was a girl coming towards me on a unicycle, and I was like, what is happening? And she like came over to check if I was okay. But I don't think she spoke much English just yet. So she like went away to get someone else. Because I was like saying to her like, I'm lost, I don't know where I am, and she was like, okay, and like went away to get someone else, an older child who like literally just spun me around and sort of ushered me back through where I came from. And I remember going home and telling my mum and dad, like, there's a girl in the street next to us that rides a unicycle. And they were like, okay. And for years, I never saw this girl until I was maybe, like, early teenager, like 13 years old or something.
Yeah.
And I was looking out of my window one day, and there she was on her unicycle again.
It's like
cycling.
She's like your fairy godmother. Maybe she's just, like, your, like, familiar or some sort of angel on a unicycle sent down to look after you.
So strange.
That's funny.
I know. Because I'm pretty sure she was the same age as me too when I saw her. She didn't look much older than me, so she must have been like 8 or 9, just like bombing it on a unicycle.
Good job. Was she on her unicycle again when you saw her?
Yes, that's how I recognised her.
That's bizarre.
I was like, it must be her.
Who else rides a freaking unicycle? That's amazing.
Yeah. In Livingston.
Yeah, very specific. In my street. I know what you mean about the surrealness of things, like memories sort of blur, or you remember just weird bits of memories.
Yeah. I'm terrible at like not remembering why this thing happened, but knowing a thing happened. Like there was a time where my dad has told me this story because you know when you have a what's it called, a remote control for the TV, and it has the little back that you slide off and in goes the batteries. Well, apparently he says I broke the back off of it. Okay. And then just pretended like I hadn't. And then when the next person picked it up, I was like, oh, you broke it.
That's such a kid thing to do.
I must have convinced myself so thoroughly that I didn't break it that I to this day don't remember breaking it.
Oh my God. That's funny though. Like, it doesn't surprise me if you now see a different memory, because even if you did break it, and I think kids, when you're so young, you kind of, everything's so serious, and you think, oh my God, if I've stepped out of line this little bit, you've done something wrong, and it's the most, for me anyway, it was the most scariest thing. Yes.
If you think everything's gonna like be the thing that gets you in the most trouble imaginable.
Ever.
I remember one time when we first got the internet, I was 9 when we got our first like home computer, and I think I must have been about 12 when this thing happened, and I had MSN, and I was like sitting chatting to my friend, and my friend's like older sister was like, ha ha ha, look at this, and like sent me a link to a website. And I clicked on the website, and the website was called, oh God, it's so gross. The website was called ratemypoo.com.
No.
Yes. And it was literally just people being like, look at this shit that I did. And people being like, 9 out of 10. Yeah, I honestly, and I remember I literally clicked on the link, I saw the title of the thing, I saw the homepage and clicked right off of it because I was like, that's in my search history now, and my parents are going to think that I looked this up, and my dad for sure knows about search history, so what am I going to do?
That's funny. And it was such a sweet, innocent thing to like come across, like, oh my God, poop. Like, that's so cute.
Yeah, exactly. And I got so worked up about it that I ended up going downstairs into the living room in floods of tears, being like, my friend sent me something, and now it looks like I was looking up poo.
Oh, I love that. This has just brought back a very weird memory. Oh God, it's rather weird and embarrassing, but also pretty funny. In my old house, I was pretty young, I promise, not like I'm some weird teenager. I was desperate for the toilet one day, and I thought, and my brother, who was at the time so good at convincing me to do something, he was like, why don't you poop on this like wooden like crate that's behind a hedge?
What?
Yeah. He was like, you should just poop there. It's fine. No one will know. No one will find it. You can just
it's fine.
You can just blame it on the cat. So naturally, guess what I did? I pooped on a wooden crate, and what are the chances the same day my mum came storming in, just like, who's done a poo on a crate?
Oh my God.
I think if I didn't admit it, I think I was dobbed. I think my brother told my mum. He was such a dick, and she definitely knew it was me. Either he told her, or I just, as you said, just burst into tears. Yeah. And I was in so much trouble. Oh, it was so funny though. Like looking back,
just done a poo on the crate.
I love that. I was like, I'll get away with this. It looks like a cat poo. What?
Yeah, this will be fine.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I remember as well, quite young, like really young, like toddler. It was quite weird. For some reason, my mum would put me in a pair of dungarees, and I still had nappies on. And weirdly, at that age, I remember looking in the mirror and being like, my bum looks fat in this. Like, what?
What?
I know. I think maybe
that's crazy,
isn't it? And I don't think it was because I thought it was fat. I think it was because I could tell the nappy just looked bulging compared to the dungaree or something. There's something off about my usual shape that I did not like. And I just remember thinking this very clearly as a really small child. I was like, oh no, this is so unfashionable. I don't look good in it. I mean, bizarre.
Oh, well, you are quite a fashionista. Yeah. So maybe it started from a young age.
Early age. I mean, looking back, I would totally rock those dungarees now. I thought they were super cool. But
dungarees are incredible, and like children's dungarees are always so cool looking.
Yeah.
I was watching The Great British Sewing Bee recently. And one of the challenges, they had to make dungarees for kids, and every single pair of them, I was like, I would wear those, I would wear those, I would wear those. They all looked so good.
Do you remember having dungarees as a child?
I don't. I have a picture of me as a young child in dungarees, but I don't remember much of my like childhood fashion. Yeah. There was one time that I do remember, because it was my mum. For some reason my mum was at work and my dad was at home, which was weird because he worked back shift, so normally he would come home at like dinner time. Anyway, mum wasn't there, and I went through to him and was like, okay, like off we go. And he was like, what do you need? And I was like, I need you to like help me get dressed because I'm a child, please. And he was like, you can do it yourself, like it's okay, you got it. Like basically being like, you can go pick out your own clothes. And then I came downstairs and he was like, great, off you go, have a great day, playing outside. And my mom came home and was like, do you want to explain to me why our daughter is outside in an orange dress and tracksuit bottoms?
Yes.
And it was like, so goodness knows what else was going on that day, just like odd shoes, all sorts. And he was like, that's what she wanted to wear today. I don't know what to tell you.
I like that. If I was to have kids, I think I would have similar. You want a kid to be confident in what they want to wear, and
yeah, I clearly thought I looked great that day as well.
Yeah,
I have a picture. I'm gonna find it and send you it.
Great.
I have a picture of me as a child. I have many pictures of me as a child.
Me too.
Not to be conceited, but I was an cute baby. But I have this one picture of me as a kid that everybody absolutely loves, but for all the wrong reasons. It's such a weird picture. I'm basically, for some reason, I have a clown mask on. I'm looking at it now. It's so weird. For some reason I have a clown mask on, and I'm just stood there like staring off into nothingness.
Oh my god. That is wonderful and terrifying and everything.
Don't you think it looks like an album cover?
It does. It's really artistic. And
yeah, it's like
color coordinated beautifully.
Yeah, though clearly wasn't a day that I dressed myself. But I don't. This is another thing. When you see pictures like that, so I will put this picture up on the Instagram for people to look at of me in a clown mask staring off into nothingness. But like, for some reason, I don't remember having a clown mask or where it came from or why I was wearing it. I don't know anything about this clown mask.
That's bizarre. Yeah, I think I'm the same. I'd like, when you think of toys or clothes, I remember like maybe one or two that were my absolute favorite, but until I see pictures, I'm like, what? Like, why do I not remember this amazing outfit that I was wearing?
Yes. There was like, I had a pair of these like Casper the Friendly Ghost pajamas that are like, were sickening. Yeah. And I only know I have them because they're in a picture. The only outfits that I remember from being a kid, there was this one outfit that I got given by my friends, my dad's friends, who I thought were like the coolest people in the world when I was a kid. She was like a 4 times world champion at Taekwondo, so I was like, oh my god,
that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, she's the coolest person. And she got me an outfit one day. It was just like, it was literally like green like cargo trousers, a white t-shirt, and this like green like kind of bomber jacket thing. And I refused to wear anything else.
Yes.
And like when those things went in the wash, I would basically just like wait for them to come out the wash so I could put them on again. So I was like, Julia got me these, so I must look so cool.
This is peak. I have some great 90s clothes, and like cool 90s clothes I didn't again know I had, and it's like snakeskin like full length skirt, kicker shoes, and like a kind of, obviously not real snakeskin, but like, and then like kind of like a shirt. It was like, maybe it was sort of a fake snakeskin look as well, but it was very in, and I look so 90s, and I love it. It's such a cool outfit. Like, I'm sorry, but any hipster today would be rocking that outfit, and I did it first, so there.
I don't know what I was going to say there.
I was just going to go off on tangents about first memories.
I'm fine with that. My first memory, I'm pretty sure they're all either super mundane or kind of sad.
Aww.
I feel like my first memory was, because there was this one time, so I had been going to nursery as a kid from when I was like a baby, but there was this one specific day where my mum left me at nursery, and I remember it because I was like looking up at her like, please don't leave me, and she was like, I have to, I'm sorry, and I was crying and she was crying, and it was like a whole big thing. But like when I think back on it, I'm like, I had been going to nursery for so long before that. And I think what happened was, that's my first memory, and it might be the first time that I had like registered that I was being left there. I don't know.
That's, interesting. And it's like really stuck with you today.
It really has, to the point that I used to have recurring nightmares about it when I was a kid.
Oh,
but like
no.
I'd have the nightmare was that she'd take me to like a really cool play area, and it had like a glass window that she could look at me through, and I'd be like in the play area waving at her, and she'd be like waving at me, and then she'd like press a button over like an intercom to talk to me, and she'd be like, I'm leaving you here and I'm not coming back. And then she'd leave, and I'd be like, Mother, no. And that was the whole dream. Mother.
Oh, that's so sad. I think my first memory is quite mundane, but it's a really young memory. I was still crawling, and I remember crawling. It was a really hard, itchy, like carpet that would basically give you the biggest carpet burns if you were like gonna fall on it. And I remember crawling on it, and it being like really rough, and I was like, oh, my hands and knees hurt. And then I looked up, and there was this friend of my mum's who was a very sweet, lovely lady, and she picked me up, and she was like, oh dear, and she picked me up, and that's all I remember. But it was cute.
Aww, that's really cute.
I remember feeling like safe, and she had picked me up, and how richy that carpet was, though, never forget it.
It's a lovely memory.
Yeah. And then just like bits and bobs. And I used to go through, I had a weird phase when I was a kid of only wanting to eat honey sandwiches.
Oh, what?
I was obsessed. I loved
honey.
I've
never even heard of having that before.
It was just like butter and then some honey spread and then a sandwich. Oh yeah,
that sounds horrible.
And I used to, honestly, for a while I was such a fussy eater. I barely wanted to eat anything else. I just wanted to eat honey sandwiches. And every lunchtime at school, it was like packed lunches, and my mum was like, here's another honey sandwich. And I think I don't remember anything else I ate. I mean, she must have given me something, but that's all I remember.
So I would never even consider putting honey on a sandwich.
You should try it.
How did you even come across that?
I don't know. I think my mum must have just given it to me one day, and I was like, well, this is something.
This is a brand new experience.
And I mean, I had such a sweet tooth then. I still do. So I think that was definitely like not helping with that. But yeah, it was crazy times. But it has to be butter with honey.
Okay, interesting. Add a little bit of salt to that sweetness.
Oh yeah.
But I was also a really fussy eater as a child, but I think it has been passed down to me through the women in my family, because my gran was a fussy eater, and then my mum was a fussy eater, and then my mum, like I said, my dad worked back shift, so he wasn't usually there for dinner. And my mum, not only was she a fussy eater, but she also wasn't the best cook in the world.
Sure.
So it seemed, I've realised it now that I've like grown up and I obviously like I'm around other people and they tell me the food that they ate as a child. I've realised that I think what happened was my mum would hear about like a dish, a normal food dish that people would have in their homes, and she'd break it down to its bare minimum components, and that's what I would get.
I think we had very similar, like, with that. My mum was similar in, she's like a totally fine cook, but she was working so hard and was a single mum that I think she just didn't have time to cook much. But yeah. Anyway, what kind of foods did your mum make for you?
It was literally like imagine just like a normal like household meal. Like, for example, most people grow up on like bolognese and pasta, right? Like mince and with tomato-y kind of sauce and stuff in pasta.
Yeah.
However, so my mum would look at that and be like, pasta, yes, tick that box, I can do pasta. And then she'd be like, mince, I have mince, that's fine. And then she'd be like, how do I know how to cook mince? In gravy. Don't like tomatoes, that's what we're having. So my dinner would just be mince and pasta and gravy, and that was that.
Ooh, kind of like that.
I mean, I love it. Now, I'm one of those people now that, like, if someone says to me that they're going to make mince, I instantly will think they're going to make mince and gravy.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not until it's put in front of me and it's, like, tomato mince that I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's
okay,
boring.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Hannah obviously grew up in a normal family, so she grew up with like the tomato-y mince instead, so she's really not a big fan of like mince and gravy, and I'm like, but it's a staple of my diet.
Gotta make some compromises.
I know.
Next you can try and make barbecue sauce and mince next.
Oh my good, no. The compromise we found is meatballs and gravy.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that.
That's a good compromise. If I can ever get round to, for some reason, you know how with like lol depression and anxiety.
Lol.
Lol, good fun. You know how every now and again you get like the impossible task? It's like a really easy, normal thing that you could do any other day of the week, but for some reason now it feels impossible.
Yes.
I've been meaning to make meatballs
Okay.
for like 2 weeks, and I was like, yeah, let's get some mince, I'll make meatballs, and then immediately my brain was like, oh no, that's impossible, you can't do it. And I was like, oh, I guess we'll never have meatballs again.
I know, and it can sometimes get stuck on this one like weird, I don't know, task, and I'm terrible. Like, I'm not a terrible cook, but I just don't think I ever really picked up any skills. Like, not blaming my mum here, because she was again working really hard, but I just didn't. You know, I think some families you kind of were taught how to kind of make certain dishes, or you watched, or you helped, or something. Yeah. And I just feel like our dinner had to be so like quick, or we would just nibble at something, or it was just, as you say, very basic. So I don't think I ever really picked up much.
Yeah, I've learned as an adult, like once I got older and like moved out and whatnot, then I learned to cook. I feel like I'm still learning for sure, but as a kid and like a teenager and whatnot, I never learned to cook. I would like again, it was things like, imagine Toad in the Hole. Yeah. Like, my mum would be like, right, Toad in the Hole's got sausages in it. I can do sausages. I don't like to oven cook them, so I guess I'll stew them, which means they're going to be in gravy. Okay. Don't know how to make pastries, so mashed potatoes. Yeah. Sausages and mash. Like, that's the thought process.
Sausages and mash, not Toad in the Hole. Yeah.
To be fair, at least sausages and mash is an actual dinner. Yes. But it was always sausages and mash with no... The gravy would never have any onions, and there was never any vegetables. Yeah. Because my mum was like, well, I don't like onions or vegetables, so... And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we used to... my favourite dish, like dessert my mum used to make was... she would chop
honey sandwiches.
Yeah, apart from the honey sandwiches. But on the same wavelength, actually, was she'd chop up banana... she would then pop some golden syrup over it and then pop it in the microwave till it was hot and then eat it.
Wow.
It was actually really yummy, but like it was like a big dollop of golden syrup, which is the sweetest thing. But I just remember it being a regular smell coming out the microwave was like sort of cooked banana and sweetness. Ooh. Yeah, it was it was funny. I enjoyed my meals though. I have no complaints.
Me too.
I just sort of ate what I wanted and kind of left the rest, and wasn't great at vegetables, but I don't think it's done me harm. I like lots of veg now. I don't like certain ones, but I can eat vegetables. So
see, I'm still fussy, unfortunately. I'm doing my very best to not be. And like I have gotten better. My plate is less beige than it used to be. But yeah, I still fight past for me it's mostly texture.
Oh my god, me too. There's some things I still I can't, even just trying to chew it. It makes me feel sick, for sure.
Yeah, aubergine is one of those for me. Oh, speaking of food though, speaking of childhood foods, I did write down some childhood foods.
Oh.
Or I wrote down a memory of one because it's a cake that to this day I still know the name of, because to this day it was the best cake I had ever eaten. And it was called chocolate lumpy bumpy cake.
Well, that sounds amazing.
I think it's not an actual style of cake. I think that it's just like that's what the chocolate cake at this particular pub was called.
Oh, cute.
Because we were on our way to France one year, we were flying, and the flight from Stansted to France got delayed for like 3 days.
Whoa, okay.
Or something like that. Yeah, so we were in Stansted for like 2 days or 3 days. And obviously we had to go get like a hotel, so we were at this like B&B on top of a pub, so we would eat at the pub every night. And on the first night I was like, can I get dessert? There's a chocolate cake. And it was, Annabel, the best chocolate cake I've ever had. I don't know why though. It was like, I remember there being white chocolate, milk chocolate. There was bits of it that tasted cold and bits of it that were hot. Ooh. I don't know if it was like it had ice cream in it or whatever, but like, and it was such a massive chunk of cake that I could never finish it. Like I ate as much as I physically could of it, and then I had to give the rest to my dad. And then I remember the next night like begging them for me to have it again, just being like, you don't know how good this cake was, Dad. Like, please let me have it again.
Surpassed this plane of existence with this cake.
Yeah. It was so tasty, and like to this day I think about it. Whenever I have any chocolate cake, I'm just like, it's not as good as the lumpy bumpy cake though.
Have you ever searched for it and maybe seen if there was such a recipe?
I've searched the name, chocolate lumpy bumpy cake, but I genuinely think it's just like whatever that restaurant was just like, we'll just call it this. It's
got
fun.
lumps in it. Not intentional.
It's got lumps and bumps, yeah. For whatever reason, there are lumps in this cake.
But it is edible. You can't feed this to your child. I had a cake similar to that was my ultimate favourite cake, and it came from do you remember Roald Dahl's Revolting Recipes? Like a cookbook?
Yes.
Yeah, it was the Bruce Bogtrotter cake.
Oh.
Have you ever had it?
No, but it must be chocolatey, right?
Oh my god. I still have the recipe somewhere. I think I saved it. Like my mum sent me an email because I was like, I need this cake. And it's like,
your mum loves an email.
Oh, she does. She sends lots of emails to me. It's brilliant. She had sent me this email, and it was basically, I can't describe it. It was like you kind of similar, like it almost felt molten inside, like it almost like it was like a half a brownie, half a cake, so that inside still felt quite soft and like a brownie, and then over the top of it was like this ganache, like butter creamy, like I think you use double cream, dark chocolate, and something else like more butter, and you make this kind of ganache and put it all over the top. And oh my god, I'm gonna make it someday and we can have some together.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Because it
sounds so
dream.
Even just like, obviously the movie, like by the end the cake does not look all that appealing.
No.
However, when the cake first gets brought out, it does look it looks so soft. Yeah. It looks so tasty.
And like, I think generally, if you buy all the ingredients at once, it costs about £10 to make.
Really?
It's like not a cheap cake, but it's so worth it. Yay. That's a good memory. It will always be my favourite. And like my mum used to make wonderful birthday cakes where it was just a Victoria sponge with icing, but she'd always decorate it with like Smarties and like have her age in Smarties and like make it pretty.
Oh, it's so nice.
Because obviously I shared my birthday with my brother, so we'd always have to share the cake, which is fine. I was happy with that.
That's a good thing. Yeah. Me and Hannah recently both had our birthdays. Our birthdays are 2 weeks apart, and for Hannah's birthday, I thought, I'll buy her like a personally made cake. Like I'll go to like a cake person in Edinburgh and get her cake. But I didn't think about how tall the cake was because the circumference of the cake wasn't that large, but it was really tall. And I also got her a lemon cake because that's her favourite type of cake, but I don't like lemons. So we were just left with this massive cake, just being like, what do we do with this? I think in the end, Hannah must have had like about 4 slices, and we also had to have 2 of our friends that live nearby, we gave them cake, and we had 3 other friends come to get cake as well. So it ended up feeding like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like it was like in the end it served about 9 servings.
Yes. Oh, it's nice. I was gonna say, very generalized statement. I like cake. I love cake.
You know what? I'm with you. I like cake too.
Yay! So you've heard it here first on the Breakfast Food podcast that cake is quite a popular choice. If you feel like making us cake, do get in touch and we can rate your cake.
Rate your cake. Oh Lord!
Rate your cake, and it'll always be 5-star unless you put like shit in it. Then that might lose a star. Yeah.
Speaking of shit,
going back to poop again.
Yeah, going back to your weird poop story. One of the guys in my year in primary school one time, I'm not going to say any names, he definitely does not listen, but just in case, he one time pooped and then took the poop and put it in the freezer.
Oh no.
Until it was frozen solid, and then he painted it.
For what? Like, did he tell people or did he show people?
I never saw it. I just heard the story. Like, years later, because he was in my primary school and my high school. So years later in high school, he told me like, "Oh yeah, one time I did this," and I was like, "What?"
Okay, and you want to admit this to me?
I know. I don't know why he told me. We weren't even that close friends or anything, so I don't really know how it came up in conversation. But
he was proud.
So strange. Yeah, probably very, very proud of his achievement.
Oh man, I wonder what color. I mean, there's only so many colors you can paint the poop.
You would think. Well, he was quite a good artist, so.
Oh, did he decorate it rather than just paint? Maybe made it pretty.
All I know is that he made sure it was frozen so it was handleable, and then he painted it.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
I know.
Ew.
No, something that only children could get away with.
There's a really fun, I just started following it yesterday. Maybe you follow it on Twitter. It's like this account where it's like kids tell jokes.
I don't follow it, but I have seen things from it before.
Yeah.
Which were very, very funny.
They're so stupid. And it's like, it's the classic, that, do you know what, this will end up being my recommendation of the week. But I'll say it quickly because we're on it. Kids write jokes. Okay, that's the Twitter account. And... It's just, okay, here's the top one that's just been posted. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Salad man.
Salad man who?
Salad man is cold outside and he needs a jacket. And this one's
wonderful.
Good. What did the whale say to the water?
I don't know. What did the whale say to the water?
Get out of my head.
Oh, what?
They're so awesome. So
recommend. Get out of my head.
Get out of my head. So recommend. That is such a stupid, amazing account. I love it. It makes me so happy.
I saw a post fairly recently And it was about a kid who, it was like someone saying like, I go and hang out with my cousin sometimes, and my cousin likes to play McDonald's, where like you give them, he says, hi, can I take your order, and you give them your order and you get your order, and that's how it works. And then he was like, but sometimes my cousin likes to play silly McDonald's, which is the exact same game, except no matter what you order, he says, here's your cold hamburger. And then one day he went to go see his cousin, and his cousin was like, can we play McDonald's? And he was like, yeah, sure. Can I have this and that and this and that? And then his cousin was like, here's your cold hamburger. And it had been silly McDonald's all along.
Oh, he had played you. That's so good.
Yeah.
Silly.
Silly McDonald's.
Very cute. Do you ever remember like getting Happy Meal toys?
Oh my god, yes.
I have so many.
I had them. I don't have anything anymore, but I used to keep all my Happy Meal toys, and my mum used to tell people at her work that I kept my Happy Meal toys, so people at her work would give me them too.
Oh my god.
They would give me their kids' ones, or if for whatever reason they got a Happy Meal, I would get the toy. And I had this red, like plastic red treasure chest in my room that was like filled to the brim with Happy Meal toys.
Nice.
And I didn't even go to McDonald's all that often, so I don't know how I got so many of them. Some of them must have been like normal toys, but yeah, it was like fully filled to the brim just with like random Happy Meal toys. I loved them.
Yeah, me too. I had so many. I like looking back, I don't have them anymore, but oh my gosh, if I kept these, I know they would sell a lot, because they were proper. I think I sort of first went to McDonald's in the late 80s for real. Like I think I was about 4, so it would have been like 89ish, and I remember like it was like a Transformers toy, and it could turn from like say a hamburger into a transformer.
That's so cool,
isn't it? I had I had like chips, like French fries. And I think there was also like a milkshake one and something else, a chicken nugget one or something. And I used to love. They did a set of Little Mermaid toys, and you could like have them all. They were like bath toys. So you could, like, I had Ariel, and she basically just floated in the water. She didn't do anything. And then there was Flounder. You could like fill him with water, and then like you could squeeze out the water. Do you
I remember him.
Yeah.
I remember him.
And I think Ursula was like had a sucker on her. You could stick her to the bath or something.
That's cool.
They were cool. I really did like a Happy Meal toy, and
I had a good I had the horse from Mulan in my Happy Meal one time. And that was cool. That was a really good one. I had Mike Wazowski in my Happy Meal one time as well.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you ever...
I had loads of them, yeah.
Like, sometimes I remember some people were just, like, dicks in McDonald's, and, like, you'd get the same toy, and you'd be like, can I swap? And they'd be like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, but...
But I've had this one.
It's like you've got to learn about disappointment early.
Yeah. Oh my god. No, I don't remember. I remember wanting to swap them before, but I don't remember anyone ever saying no. I must have had nicer people than you.
Well, something going on in Inverness, clearly. Did you ever collect Pogs or Tazos?
I had some, but I didn't know what they were for, and
Me
like
too.
But I was like that with anything that you ever needed to collect. Like, even, like, Pokemon cards. So Pokemon became massive when I was a kid. Like, I was the exact right age for Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, can I have some cards? My mom and dad being like, no. Like, what? No, you don't need them for anything. You wouldn't even know what to do with them. And I was like, I just want to look at them.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, I was in the playground, and I found one on the ground. And I was like, oh my god. And it was just like your standard, like, I don't know, energy card or whatever.
Yeah.
But I ended up trading that card for 2 cards, and trading those for more cards, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
And by the end, I had over 400 Pokemon cards.
Oh, that is an entrepreneur right there.
Yep. I had them all in this really thick photo album, you know, when you can like peel the cellophane and put something in it, and I had them all in this really thick photo album, and my mum sold it at a car boot sale for like £5.
Oh, that's so gutting.
I know. She did the same thing with all of my Disney videos. I had Disney VHS tapes, and she sold all of them together for £10.
Oh, I think my mum did something similar where one day she just was like, "You're too old for toys." And she just got rid of them. She was like, you don't need them. And we had a Disney VHS of The Little Mermaid, and it was like a first, I think they're like almost like were first editions, and you could press it and it would light up. They had little LED lights in the cover.
Wow. Oh
I know.
God.
And maybe it made a tune, I don't remember, but you definitely pressed a shell, and then it was like all these lights, and it was just the front cover. It was beautiful. I'm going to Google it. I want to find it, see if someone still kept theirs, if it still works. But yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah, my mum and dad did that with my dummies. Like, I used to suck on dummies when I was young, and I used to keep them all. I was really bad for keeping stuff at or under my pillow. Like, I would lie my dummies in a line above my pillow and like choose one every night to like sleep with. And then, like, when I got older, I would just keep, like, random stuff I found under my pillow, like rocks and sticks.
Oh, yeah,
I
remember you saying this, I think, last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one day my mum was like, right, no more dummies, that's that. And just, like, from my memory is that she threw them all out, and I just had to, like, deal with it.
Oh, yeah. It's so painful.
I'm pretty sure the story goes she threw them all out, and I kicked up such a fuss that she got some back again. It was like, right, let's try this in a different way.
Here you go. Oh God!
Please stop crying.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, not funny, obviously for you, but it's so like, I mean, parents must feel this all the time. They're like, I made an instant decision, and I do regret it. I shouldn't have. Yeah. My mum.
I need to go back on it, but I don't know how to do that without my child realizing that I'm soft.
Yeah, exactly. I have to be dominant somehow. Still, this is hard. My mum was very funny when my last baby tooth came out, and we like would be visited by the tooth fairy. By that time, I was pretty convinced the tooth fairy wasn't real. Yeah, I was like, pretty streetwise by then. And I had my last tooth, and I put it under my pillow. And just before I fell asleep, my mum opened the door of my room, and she just came in, and she made this like hand gesture, and she was like, flap, 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 I'm the tooth fairy.
Wow.
And then just like, here's some money, and then left. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Good to be confirmed.
Okay, I guess. Yeah, that'll be that. Do you remember ever having the conversations with your parents where you had to have the like, is Santa not real conversations?
Do you know what? We never had an official conversation, but genuinely, when I was about 6 years old, I swear I heard Santa on the roof. I woke up, or I heard it in the middle of the night, or what I thought was, and I remember telling everyone in the morning, and they clearly were just like, oh, really? That's nice. And I was like, I heard...
They're all like, my kid's a fucking liar.
Yeah. She's talking absolute shit. And I was like, yeah, I could hear like bells. I was like, I could hear bells on the roof. That must have been the reindeer. And I thought I could hear like foot stomping around the roof or something. I know. And I swear I thought I heard that. Obviously couldn't have, but my little imagination was like so wanting to believe it was real, and I was like utterly convinced. I was like, this must be real. And then I think it just, I don't know, because I stopped having Santa when I was before teenage years, like probably like 12 or something, and I knew by then he wasn't real. But in my heart, I
or
still want
was
to believe.
he?
I know. I'm like, we used to do such cute things. Like, again, my mum would leave out like a glass of milk and some carrots, and then I'd wake up in the morning and the carrots were like eaten and the milk had been drunk, and I was like, oh. So yeah, it's really sweet, but I guess in my heart, I knew quite early on He
We
wasn't.
never did any of that stuff.
Oh.
Like my Christmas was a thing in my house for as long as I was excited for it, and then the day that I turned like just a little bit too old to be too excited, like all of the magic was gone.
Oh no.
So like if I was like Santa, they'd be like, yeah, for sure, for sure. And then like I remember one year, I had been told by many people like Santa's not real, and I remember I went to my mum and I was like, Mum, is Santa real? And she was like, what do you think? I was like, that means he's not. That means he's not real. But yeah, and I remember we had a Christmas tree for years, and then again that my mum went through a real car boot sale phase. Yeah. She sold our Christmas tree at a car boot sale one year, and then we just never bought another one.
Oh man, like yeah,
I was gutted.
That's harsh. That would bring me much pain as well.
Yeah.
My Christmases in the last like year or two have become so joyful again. They went through such a horrible period in my 20s, and now they're like really like I feel like a bit more magic to them. So I think it comes in waves, and you know,
that's nice.
Yeah, so like I have the Christmas spirit once more. I have been rejuvenated by I'm trying to think of who's been rejuvenating me. The Christmas present ghost. I don't know.
The Christmas... At first I thought you said the Christmas president, and I was like, who is that?
He's made sure that I have got my Christmas spirit back.
Yeah, that was his campaign.
Yeah, just for me.
There's like certain things about Christmas that I indulge in that I really like.
Yeah.
Like I always like to indulge in going to the market, and I like to go like, oh, all the lights on the street. Like there's certain things about it that I do like. I love getting wrapped up in the cold and like, you know, all that nice romantic winter stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Christmas isn't that big. It just never has been in my family. I think because I'm an only child, so it was just like, as soon as I wasn't young enough for it, they were like, okay, that's enough.
I like Christmas foods. I love getting the Christmas, like, you know, those little kind of bites you put in the oven. That's not even Christmas, like, yeah, like little kind of like, you know, like cocktail, better than a cocktail sausage.
Like
but,
pigs in blankets.
Yeah, and like little camembert bites. You can find them in like Tesco. They're the best.
I know what you're talking about. You mean when you first said it, I thought you meant like trademark Christmas bites, like a specific food called Christmas bites. I was like, I've never heard of this before.
Every flavour of Christmas in one bite.
Oh god! Oh my god!
Yes, so fun. Did you have a favourite toy at all when you were younger?
Well, I still have I got given a teddy when I was 1 day old, who I still have, called Rabbit, which is a rabbit, as you can imagine. And I guess I was never someone who like took toys around with me, because I think I used to take him places, and then one day I put him in the car, we were going somewhere, and then on the way back we drove down the street and he was just on the road. Like he had obviously fallen out the car on the way to the place we were going. And he was just like on the road on the way back, and I was like, oh my god. And I think after that I was too scared to take him out again.
Oh no.
But I was very attached to my micro scooter when I was a kid.
I had one of those.
Because they were just, I had a micro scooter, I had a bike, but for like a while my scooter was the only way I ever went anywhere. Like I scooted everywhere I went, and then one day I was out collecting conkers and someone stole my scooter.
Oh, dicks.
Yeah, I was just like literally round the corner collecting conkers, and someone just picked my scooter up and like ran away with it.
Ugh,
I was so upset, and then I spent ages like saving money to buy another one, so long saving money to buy another one, that by the time I went away and bought it, I like had like just lost the energy to do it. Like I don't know if I had like just grown up a little bit too much or whatever, but like I just like I bought it and then never used it because I was like, oh, I guess that's fine. I was just like so sad.
Oh, no. I think I had I went through phases with toys. I had a childhood, like a baby toy as well, like a teddy bear who was called Miranda, and she was Sweetest little thing. She had like a little purple dress and a little bow in her hair and all that stuff. And she stayed with me for so long, but this is one of my biggest regrets. I lent it to someone at drama school because they were doing a show. And
you told me about this.
Oh my God. I've never forgiven her. She didn't even say sorry, really. She was just a dick.
Oh my God.
And she just was like, oh, I'm just gonna take it, for a prop. And I was like, you have to bring this back. Like, you cannot lose it. It's my like oldest bear. It's from me as a baby, all this stuff. And yeah, she got drunk in a pub and she like left it, and she couldn't even remember where the pub was or what name it was, and I couldn't even contact them, and and she just came back and she was like, oops, it was that kind of thing, and I was just like,
oh my God.
I was so angry.
Oh my God, I'm angry for you. I remember you telling me the story before and I was so livid about it.
I know,
because like, if anyone ever did that to Rabbit, I'd be so gutted. I remember one time my ex had, like, when we were still together, I came home from work and she had Rabbit like cuddled up under her dressing gown, and I was like, oh, that's nice, like, nice that you're cuddling him. And she was like, I have to tell you something. And I was like, what is it? And she was like, I put our duvets in the washing machine and I didn't notice that Rabbit was like bundled up in the duvets, and I was holding like bags of shopping, and I like dropped the shopping on the floor and I was like, give him to me,
resuscitate him.
Yeah, because he's so old, obviously he's like 27 years old, so at this point he was like 21 years old or something. He can't really withstand the washing machine anymore. Thankfully there wasn't too much damage, but because he's a rabbit, he's got that little stitched on like nose and mouth, just like a line of stitching, and most of his stitches got worn away in the wash, so now he's just got like a little dot, so it looks like he's constantly surprised.
Oh no.
And I literally was like, she was like, I'm so sorry, and she obviously didn't mean it, and I was like, like, I know you didn't mean it, I completely understand, but also I'm irrationally angry and I just need to go sit by myself for a minute.
It's like, someone's violated your childhood, essentially.
I know.
A horrible feeling. You've actually just reminded me of something not related, but also very funny, because I think I was a very entrepreneurial, I cared a lot as a kid. I wanted to make things good in the world kind of thing, and I ended up I did two things. First of all, me and my friends thought we would stand on our road, and it was like quite a busyish through road, so loads of cars came round, and we thought we'd stand there with like a hat and essentially busk, and we thought we would raise money for the blind. That was all.
No.
Our only thing was, we're gonna raise money for the blind. We just sung away, and I think people gave us some money, and my mum, like, when we came in, we're like, oh my God, look what we've done. And she was like, oh my God, I have to give this now to some blind charity. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So bless her, she did that. She was true to her word, but it was just like, in my heart, I was like, this is going to raise money for the blind.
Oh my God. I had moments of that as well when I was a kid. I remember one time, this story to this day embarrasses me. So, like, when Black Eyed Peas, Where Is the Love came out.
Oh yeah.
So I was young enough that when that came out, that song, like, I was like, oh my God, you're right. Where is the love? Why is there no love? And I got a bunch of Post-it notes and I wrote Where Is the Love on a bunch of Post-it notes with like a big old question mark, and I went around my primary school and like stuck them on the walls. I like stuck them on the outside, like stuck them everywhere outside. And I had a plan. I was like, I'm going to wear my hoodie when I go. and I put the hood up so they won't know it was me. And I remember having an argument with my mum that morning because she was like, that hoodie doesn't fit you anymore, like why? And I was like, no mum, it's important.
I am like an activist.
Yeah, but this honestly in my mind it feels like one of those like horrible like bully moments in a movie, because at one point I got like pulled over by a teacher being like, hey, so you need to not do that. And she was like, it's a really nice sentiment, but like you can't post things up around the school. And there was two boys with her who like had obviously gone round and collected all these up.
Oh.
And then like as she walked away, one of the boys came over and like pushed like a wadded up thing of them into my chest.
Oh.
Like, do you know, like proper
That's
like
so
bully move.
Yeah.
And I just had like all these crumpled up post-it notes of like me being like, hey, love each other more. I just like had them like pushed against my chest, and I was just like, oh no.
It is. You have now entered like a total angst, like teenage film from the early 2000s. Honestly, that's so awesome.
When I think back on it, I'm like, oh my god, because I remember as well, this was one of the things that I must have been in like primary 4 or something. This was one of the things that when I got into high school, someone came up to me from years above me and was like, were you that kid that went around school and posted a bunch of things? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? That wasn't me.
That was
by that time I'd been broken and humiliated.
No, that's so sad. I mean, that was a beautiful story though, and you know, if the film was made, then you would find a way to get back at the sort of bullies, and the teachers be like, she's right, where is the love? And then they would embrace
the love? And then the song would play and we'd all have a dancing montage.
Yeah. The Black Eyed Peas would be there.
The Black Eyed Peas would be there, yeah. They would be like in the primary school gym hall.
Yeah, oh, it was so good. As a general child, I was very like conscientious. I was really popular as a child. It became less obvious as a teenager, but like I was very outgoing. I had my Spice Girls tribute band.
I remember, yes.
I actually have another video I've not yet posted on Instagram, so I'll give that to Breakfast Food because it's well worth a watch.
Yes.
And I loved gymnastics and dancing, and I had a very equal balance of girl and boy friends. Like I wasn't a girly girl. I was a tomboy for sure, and I was just
what a well-rounded child you were.
Right. I think it helped because I had a twin brother, so like we were both friends with the same friends, which was like a mix of girls and boys. So that was actually pretty good. And
I definitely had more friends that were boys as a kid than I do now as an adult. I genuinely think I have maybe 2 male friends, but as a kid, yeah, totally, I was more of a mix. But I was a complete tomboy as well. Yeah. So I had a lot more guy friends than girlfriends because I was just like out in the mud. I don't know if I told you about this story. I think it was the story in my mind that made me think, oh, we should do an episode on children. And it was the story about the puddle at the bottom of my cul-de-sac. Have I told you this?
Don't think so.
It's like basically if it rained too much, the bottom of my street, which was on a hill, the drain at the bottom would clog up. Oh, no. And it would make this massive puddle. And there was one year where the puddle was so big and I was so little still that I could like not swim in it, but I could float in it.
What?
So like,
oh my god!
Me and some of my friends went down and just like got in the puddle and were like sitting in it and floating in it and like splashing in it. And I got home and my mum was absolutely fucking livid. Yeah. We were having dinner. My dad was there for dinner that night, and must have been the weekend. We were having dinner, and she was like so angry and so grumpy, and was like, "You're not going back out after dinner." And I was like, "But Mum, I have to. Like, what about the puddle?" And then we were like near the end of dinner, and my mum went away into the kitchen for something or other, and my dad just like looked at me from across the table and was like, and like gave me like a little head like, off you go. And I was like, woo! So I like ran off outside, and he just like bore the brunt of my mum's anger. Wow. While I went and played in the puddle again.
That's funny. I know, I think as kids you could just get dirty, and I think my mum was quite good at just being like, well, if they get ill from something, they get ill from it. Like, as long as they're not in immediate danger, it's probably okay. So I think it helped immensely with like my immune system. I'd like to think.
Same. You know, I've never ever. I think I had food poisoning once when I was a young child, but I've never in my adult life ever had food poisoning. And I think it might be to do with the fact that I literally ate grass as a child.
Good old grass. If it's good enough for my cat, it's good enough for me.
Yeah, I would eat grass and flowers, and there was this specific type of leaf that was really sour that I was like, hell yeah, give me that leaf. Yeah, I just ate literally anything I came across as a child.
Give me that goddamn tasty leaf.
Yeah, I don't know why I did it, because the thing is, like everything bar that one leaf that actually was quite tasty, everything else did not taste good, so I don't know why I was eating it, but I just was like, you know, this is fine, why not?
We had because we had quite a nice wee garden, my granny, who lived upstairs from us, used to plant lots of like herbs, and so we ended up like just munching on chives. That was fun. And I was such a silly little sweet child. Oh, bless me. I would like go outside. I would set my alarm at midnight sometimes in the summer, and I would go outside in my favourite nightie. I had a really like pretty nightie. Even though I was a tomboy, I liked flowy, like I liked feeling like I was in a kind of Jane Austen film, or like something quite sort of romantic-esque. It was weird. I was clearly very dramatic as well, and I'd go out and I would just like catch like moths. I would just go around. It must have been a bit later. It must have been when the sun was coming up and the moths were kind of waking up, and I would just like grab them and catch them, like not squish them, just kind of catch them in my hand, and then I would just dramatically like let them go again, and I would just like skip around at like whatever 5 or 6 in the morning.
That's so cute.
I know, it's very, very cute kids, really.
That's so nice. You were like out catching and releasing them, and
and
my
eating
god,
some
Hannah's gonna detest this part of Hannah is not a fan of moths at all.
Oh no.
She's gonna hate this part of the episode. Imagine, I'm like thinking of you being like this like flowy like midnight moonlight moth girl, and like cut to me literally eating mud.
It's perfect.
I had one last story of like antics, or like times that you got caught doing stuff that you didn't think was. As a kid, there was so many times that I would do something that I for sure did not think was bad.
Yes.
And then someone would be like, "That's so bad," and I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't realize." And I have one of them was, it was my aunt's wedding, and I was 10, I think, maybe 10 or 11 or something like that. And I was wearing a cream suit. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And I remember that her daughters, who were her bridesmaids, they were older than me. They were like 15 or 16. In one of the pictures, one of them like pulled a face. It was just like a picture of like her and her sister, and one of them pulled a face, and I was like, oh, that's hilarious. Can't wait to try that one out. But I wasn't in any other pictures that day. I was like, oh, I've lost my chance. And then there was one where everyone in the whole wedding were put together in this like marquee kind of thing, and they were like, let's have like a picture of everyone at the wedding. I was like, aha, now's my chance. I can do the face, and my cousin will think it's hilarious. So I pulled a face, but like no one knew about it, and I clearly must have forgotten about it until like the professional wedding photos came in, and they only had like one shot of everyone at the wedding, and my aunt was absolutely furious. She was like, why did you do this? Like, how could you do this? And I was like, I saw Sarah doing it, and I thought it was going to be okay.
It's your daughter's fault, and I think that's adorable. If someone did that in my wedding photo, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of cute. I wouldn't care.
But she cared a lot.
She cared. So when I was really young, I keep going off stuff. Keep reminding me of more stories. But
no, that's fine.
When I was really, really young, I thought there was only 3 emotions.
Okay.
And like what you would pull with your face. So I thought there was happy. So obviously like smiling. I thought there was sad, which is like sad down to her mouth. And then I thought there was cheeky, and it was this. That was me.
What?
That was my face.
What?
I can't see it.
It's like a... It's like pulling your mouth to the side.
And then my nose goes scrinkles up. And then I was like, this is cheeky. I know.
What is
that?
It because you look like you're biting your own cheek? Like, what is that?
I don't know. I was just told it as a kid, and it stuck with me. And I was like, that's 3 emotions. I've nailed them.
Those are the happy, sad, and cheeky. The 3 main emotions. The only 3 emotions.
And yeah, my final story before I go off on one, I'm going to stop after this one. Yeah, I remember having a kind of semi-naughty moment, which I thought was also extremely stealthy, when I used to sleep on the kind of floor that my gran sort of slept on, like the same sort of like floor level. She used to have a stash of Twixes in her dining room, which I obviously knew about. And yes. I remember, again, it was like I set my alarm for like what I thought was super late. I think it was just before midnight, and I assumed she was sort of in bed and asleep. And I set my alarm, and I was like, I'm gonna have a Twix. It's gonna be a midnight snack. And I get up, and I get this Twix out, and I must just made this awful noise of crunching and crinkling, because she wakes up, and I hear her door opening of her bedroom, and I run like. The dining table she had like one tucked away in the corner, which was like folded down, and I could like fit in the middle of this table. It was like almost like a tunnel, and I came in and I ran there, and I was just like, holy fuck, oh my god, and I was like, I'm gonna get caught. And I was just sitting there like in the dark in the dining room, and she came in and put the light on, and she was like, Annabelle? And she basically waited there for a minute, and she knew fine well she could probably see my feet sticking out of the table.
Probably. Yeah.
And she was just like, whatever. I went back to bed, and I got my Twix.
So did she say anything the next morning?
No, she never said anything about it.
Bless
her.
That's
but
a good gran.
Fine well what I was doing. But I thought
that's a good gran.
Yeah, she was pretty awesome like that. She was a pretty cool gran.
My gran was pretty cool too. She back to Christmas, she used to come round every Christmas and like stay with us, and then like be around for like opening presents and stuff the next day. And I used to always go in and sleep in the bed with her, because it was just like a fun Christmas thing. But she would always like make me stay in bed. Like I would wake up at whatever o'clock in the morning, and she would make me stay in bed until like my mum and dad were awake. And she one year she was like, you can get up when you hear the first crow, like when you hear the first bird outside. But it was winter, which meant all the birds were gone. So it was clearly just like her way of being like, just stay in bed until my alarm clock tells us that we can get up. And then I heard one, and I was like, oh, that was one there. She was like, I didn't hear anything. I was like, no, how dare you?
Lies. That's so sad. Yeah. When did you get up? Did she like?
I'm pretty sure her standards were ridiculous. I had to wait until like 9 a.m.
Oh my god!
And I would be awake from like 5, being like, I want to see my presents.
Oh, that's a long time to wait. Yeah, I was the same.
I know, and the whole time my dad would be awake because he'd be up making breakfast. He's a really early riser. But because my mum was still asleep, my grandma was like, no, you have to wait. And I'd be like, how long must I suffer?
This is the worst thing. Oh, yeah. That's cute. I love it.
But anyway.
We were cute kids.
We were cute kids. I was a very cute child. I had like super, super ginger hair when I was young, and it was like really long, and I just had like over the nose freckles. Yeah. I was pretty cute.
Oh, we'll definitely post some pictures to the Instagram and probably Twitter as well, and I will definitely post that amazing Spice Girls video.
Yes, please.
Because it's class. It's pure class. Unfortunately, you cannot get it in the States for some reason. It's like against copyright. I don't know why.
What?
I don't know.
To put up your home video?
Yeah, because of the music, I guess.
Oh, that's so weird.
I know.
Oh well, I guess.
Well, on that note, do you have any serving suggestions for this week?
My serving suggestions is kind of boring this week, but it's something that I've been doing because just necessity. We're all back outside again, and a lot of us, including myself, are back at work now. So I've just been making masks, or I'm about to make a few more masks. Essentially, a really easy way to make a mask is to buy one. But if you buy one of the sort of cheap, like 2 for whatever, 3 for whatever, 3 for $5 packs of those black ones that are that go over your ears as well, you can fold that one in half, then you can trace it and make your own pattern on a piece of paper, and then you can use that pattern to cut out more durable and like better fabric that will actually protect you a bit better. And you just cut them and then you just cut them out, and then you can just, it's like one line of sewing, and that's all you have to do. Sweet. If you have a sewing machine, then you can go around the edges, but super easy way to make a mask. It saves you however many pounds that you would normally spend on Etsy and buying them from other people. Yeah,
that's sweet.
So yeah, that's
I
my
need to get
suggestion.
more masks. I had one, and I really should get a second one because I have to wash it so regularly because it's gross.
Exactly,
I get makeup all over it. Ew.
And also just like germs and whatnot. Because I'm back at work, I have to rotate them now.
Yeah.
Like, I have to wear one day, then that goes in the wash, wear another one the next day, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I'm burning through them. So, I'm sure a lot of other people are as well. So, yeah, simple mask pattern and just sew it together in the middle, and then there you go.
Sweet.
Nice, easy mask.
I love
What about
it.
yourself?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with what I chatted about. The lovely Twitter account I discovered today, like literally yesterday. Kids writes jokes. Wait, I can't speak. Kids write jokes, and it's just full of beautiful moments, and they're all real. Like, people send them in, so they're all genuinely jokes that kids have blabbed out of their precious little mouths.
Precious little mouths.
Aren't they silly? Silly McDonald's.
Silly McDonald's.
Nice. Okay. Wow.
Right.
Well,
We've got Instagram, Breakfast Food Podcast. On Instagram, Breakfast Food Podcast. On Twitter, Breakfast Food Podcast. On Gmail.
Yeah.
I'm cara.mckinley.art on Instagram. That's also the name of my new shop.
Oh, check it out. It's pretty sweet.
If anyone wants to buy any stickers, I have a whole bunch of them. And that's all my stuff.
Well, yeah, same. I'm just on Twitter and Instagram as well. You can find me on Annabel Logan or Annabel Logan Comedy on Instagram.
Oh, next week's episode. We almost forgot. Again, next week's episode is going to be harkening back to our first episode, and it's just going to be an episode of feel-good stuff.
Yeah.
Like feel-good stories and making each other feel happy and making you guys feel happy. We started the podcast when quarantine had sort of almost just come into effect, and we were like, oh, maybe people need to pick me up. And now quarantine's coming out of it, and I'm thinking people probably need to pick me up all over again. I don't know about anyone else, but going back into being a real human being who has to like be responsible has actually taken a huge toll on me. I'm knackered. I didn't realise how knackered I was until I started talking.
Yeah,
I was
me
like, oh
too.
my god, I can't. Yeah, I really should have had a coffee.
We're there. We've done it. We've ploughed through.
Yeah, we managed it.
Yeah, it's a really nice idea. I think it's sort of, people need it. Things are still sort of feel. It's like things are just new again, aren't they? And it sort of still brings a bit of anxiety, and things have changed once more. And you feel a bit anxious knowing there's pockets of spikes and all that stuff. So yeah, let's do some nice, fun, happy, feel-good stories. And I love researching them. There's so many lovely things out there.
Yeah, it just makes me smile. Yeah,
Yay.
Feel-good stories next week. And then, who knows, the week after,
it's all
is our lobster.
a mystery. Okay,
bye.
Ta-da!
Have a good breakfast.